Greetings, Boffins, and welcome to the Boffin Lab. I'm Old Man Triton, and today we're doing a guide on the easiest harvestables to be found in Star Citizen 4.1.1. The Rayari Collection missions mean that you have to get harvestables in some manner or another, and when you work out the figures, these harvestables come out to about 5 grand a piece if you can find them easily. However, most people will tell you to go to outposts and distribution centers and loot those. The problem is that what you find is randomized and it's base level quality. Looking ahead to when they bring quality into the game, you will want to be able to harvest the item directly from a plant or tree in order to get a better quality object. So we'll show you where to find the objects that you're looking for. We'll start with the easiest and work our way down to the last ones that I was able to find myself. By far the easiest thing to find is Amioshi Plague. You can find it in a lot of places, including the warehouses and greenhouses you find in places like Dung and Weeping Cove. In fact, they were so common I wasn't even picking them up in this instance. But there is several plants here. But the big question is, will the plants in a greenhouse count as high quality? The best place to find Amioshi Plague is also the best place to find Ranta Dung. It's caves, and they're prolific down here. You will find literally 50 to 100 units in a single cave of each type. This makes it very valuable in the long run, since you're getting roughly 5 grand per unit for each mission. However, the difficulty comes when you turn it in. You're only turning in between 10 and 14 units at a time at a different location. Now, I have tested the cycling option of trying to cycle the missions, and I'll discuss that a little later. But as a basic premise, you will probably have to travel to each location to turn in your missions. Notice that I'm using F right-click to get the radial wheel up and store these objects immediately rather than just hitting F and carrying them. This increases the speed of your collection process. The next easiest things to find in the Harvestables department is the Heart of the Woods. Now, these are fairly prolific on microtech, but knowing what to look for is the trick. They are basically shown as white stumps on the ground from the air, and I can see them from about 1500 meters and below. But as you can see in the front of me, they're very much easy to see against green and dark brown backgrounds. You'll have trouble spotting them in the snow, but they are obviously out of place in this setting. One thing to note about these plants is that there are 4 nodes on them, 1 at the base and 3 inside the trunk. And you can get a total of 4 to 6 stumps at any one location, meaning you will automatically have enough to complete 1 mission from 1 location. I should warn you at this point in time that you can accidentally eat these things and poison yourself, so better keep your helmet on. So where did I find these Heart of the Woods? Well, here I am at Dunburrow, and I'm looking roughly 220 degrees or 160 degrees at 2 lakes with some forests around them. That's where I've been searching for these items, and I've been successful each time I've come back here. However, I have noticed that the nodes do not remain permanent or change between servers. So each time you come back, they'll be in a different place and you'll have to search further for them. This isn't the only place to find them. I have found Heart of the Woods around Harper's Point, and I have found Heart of the Woods in open fields nowhere near any trees. So it's worth having a look around. Let's try some of your local areas. Keep an eye out when you're doing missions. You might find a hidden spawn that you can use to your advantage. The last of the easily found items is sunset berries. And sunset berries are found much the same way as heart of the woods. There are white nodes from the air that you can see. They look very much like the stumps, but they're slightly distorted. They stand out quite well against the green background, but much harder to see against snow. I found these once again near Dunburrow, next to the lakes that I mentioned earlier, and each node seems to have up to 4 units of sunset berries. However, occasionally they can be glitched into the ground and difficult to retrieve. I have found these nodes empty. I don't know whether what's happened is somebody has arrived not long before me and harvested them already, or they have been not spawned. I don't know. Unfortunately, I can't stand there and watch a plant for hours on end to see what its life cycle is. So we're just going to have to assume that we were out of luck on that occasion. Just like the heart of the woods, these appear to spawn in randomized locations in general areas. So I have not found the same plants in the same place each time I've come back. I'm going to put here an honourable mention to the Revenant Pods, which I have not found in the wild yet. I do know where you can get them in a greenhouse. This is Dunburrow. We have found about 2 or 3 plants here, and this is what the plant looks like. Or at least I assume this is what the plant looks like in the wild. I have not seen a picture. But this is one of the things that still needs to be found in the wild, and there's a chance here for intrepid explorers. So as far as I can tell, nobody has found the location of Prota, Degnous root, or Revenant Pods in the wild. I can't find any information on their locations, and certainly no information on their spawn habitats that is really useful. Just general stuff in the guide that's in the journal. There's a chance to be part of Star Citizen lore to be the first to find these 3 items and tell the rest of the world. Turning in these missions has its own special problem, and that is that you do not have a counter or a person that you simply hand them to. You need to put all your items into a box. A 1 SEU box is sufficient, though I have not been able to get the 1/8 SEU boxes to work yet. You can also cycle the missions so that they are abandoned and then accepted again until they're all at the same location. But I assume that eventually there will be some reputation associated with doing this, and you might find that it's not worth your while. At the moment, it works fine, and you can basically line up a bunch of missions at the same location and turn everything in over and over again. The issue with the box is that you put all your products into the storage container and then deliver it to the cargo hangar through one of the cargo elevators. You'll notice that when you enter these cargo elevators, you have to always send down the lift for the first time, and then you can open the box. I find it's a very good idea to look at your missions, write down what the quantities are, and then open this screen. Double click on the box to open the box itself, and then split off the amount of material that you need for each of your missions. Once you've split the right number of items from the main stack, drag it to the elevator or send it to the elevator. I obviously didn't get it working that time, but I'm doing the sunset berries next. And you will then be able to deliver them to the elevator itself. So we've got the heart of the woods and the sunset berries, and we send the elevator up. We're also doing the Amioshi plague. I've forgotten how many missions I had lined up for this particular situation. When you send the elevator up, the items are automatically split into individual units and spread across the elevator. It would be a very good idea not to disturb their placement because they're locked to the grid on the elevator. when you drop the elevator next, you will get the chance to see the usual turn-in screens that you see when you do courier missions or hauling missions. I complete 3 contracts at that time, and then can go and accept missions again and cycle them until I get such a result that I need. Don't forget to collect your box of materials before you leave. Now, I wanted to be that guy that found those last 3 items, so I spent a lot of time searching around Hurston, Microtech, Ita, various other moons that are supposed to have these materials on board, and I have had no luck. I've spent hours doing it. The only thing that I have found has been a few images that are giving me an idea where the things would look like or what they would look like. These have come from wiki pages and they may not be up to date, so I will show you what they are supposed to look like, and hopefully that will give you half a chance of finding them yourselves. But there is the chance to become one of the first people to find a first off item in the game, and that's not a common thing for these MMOs anymore, is to be the only person to ever be first to discover an item. So it might be worth somebody's time if you want internet fame and a little recognition in the Star Citizen community. That's the end of this guide. Please like and subscribe. Good hunting and have fun in space.